Welcome to the back of the boat again. In case you didn't realise, that's my stern voice. No more boat jokes, I promise. So we needed to get some cheap PR for our business, and it seemed like a great idea to sponsor a local football team. After a few beers one night, we wanted to get our name in the papers. We did that all right. Buddy and I, Chris, came back from America and started a print business, and we'd gone from having a printer in the garage to employing over 30 people with 2 sites, one in central Brighton doing the printing, swanky offices by a marina, a Lady B marina near Port Slade, and we were sending out 20,000 envelopes a month to the owners of small businesses up and down the country, offering them personalised notepads. And we were getting about 250 orders and printing about 32,000 notepads a month, and getting quite a bit of money for it. If you've ever wondered how do you produce notepads, print a stack of paper, about 10,000 sheets, and then you glue down each side, that's the thin side of an A4 sheet, and then get a guillotine, chop it in 4. The hard bit was the gluing and then separating. So you've got 50 sheets of paper, then a backing board, 50 sheets of paper, backing board. You get the idea. So we had a bunch of women, all from one particular part of Brighton, who would sit around with sharp knives separating the notepads. In case you've ever wondered, the collective noun for a bunch of these splitters is called a natter. And that's because that's pretty much all they did. Smoke cigarettes and natter. One of them was living with our printer, John. John was a good printer, also had a good left foot, played for his local football team. Rumour has it he was wanted in Redditch for some misdemeanour by some dodgy characters. And when we had the Conservative Party conference in Brighton, and the BBC came to film our little business, he was always hiding behind a print machine when the cameras were on him. So one night, on Friday night, we're in the pub, this pub near their little community, and we'd had a few beers. This pub, well, it's all bulging biceps and hairy, and the tattoos, and the men, well, they're even worse. After another few rounds of drinks, talk turned to football and their pub team, and they hadn't won a single match that season, but they thought if they had sponsorship, smart shirt, smart kit, then they might start winning. So we said we'd sponsor them. Then we had a few more drinks, which was a mistake, and they said they would win the season. Yeah, of course they would. So we said, well, if you do that, we'll double it. And then Chris chimes in, no, we'll quadruple it. They've got no chance of winning the season. They've lost every match. So the next match turns up, and the Brighton Even Argus were there to report it, with smart shirts with Broly advertising on it. There's us on the touchline. They played like demons. They won 3-0. Unbelievable. Worse than that, they kept winning. You know what's coming, don't you? They won the season. And unfortunately our business had taken a bit of a downturn. The envelopes that we were sending out were always returning a response. I think it was 1.5% response of orders. Came the end of the season, we sent out our usual mailing, and instead of the 250 orders, we got 50. Confused. Maybe a sack of mail went missing. So we sent out another 20,000. Same thing. So we had to quickly pivot to get some new business in. But worse than that, we owed this guy another deal of sponsorship. We had to inform the captain, listen, don't think we can sponsor you next season. It's important to remember at this point that this pub was a 5-star establishment. That's 1 star for everybody that had been sent to A&E that week. So, having disappointed them with their sponsorship, we heard the captain discuss something with the team, and in the background we could hear them babbling along, and he seemed to be suggesting some football tactics. So I asked him what they were talking about, breaking from the back. Then I realised it's our backs that they were threatening to break. Suffice to say, we never went back to that pub again. Can't even remember the name of it, but I know where it is and I'm not going there. Another partnership that nearly got me into serious trouble. I was involved in a Phoenix company. I had to fly out to Malta, and the Maltese suppliers had been done over by a previous English company and left owing hundreds of thousands of pounds. So we sat there with the guys and discussing the fact that we would be paying. At this point in the conversation, one of the directors explained a little geography to us. Malta was situated in between Libya and southern Italy. So their neighbours were, at the time, Colonel Gaddafi and the Mafia. And they were good friends with both of them. And he said, I'm not saying we deal in guns, but if we wanted to, we could. The air conditioning in the office must have suddenly been turned on, because a chill went down my spine. And we did do business with them, and by God we paid them. What do I learn from all this? Firstly, don't do big deals in a pub. And secondly, choose very carefully your partners. You might be able to guess that our boat is moored near a church. If you like these videos, please do like, subscribe and share, as being a business entrepreneur, business owner is a lonely path, and we aim to help as many people as we can. After 40 years in business, I've discovered there is really only one truly successful business guaranteed. Check out the next video.